Are you feeling intimidated and discouraged by the idea of homeschooling your preschooler? In this video, I just want to share some encouragement about homeschooling preschool and some tips to help make it a little bit easier. So please hit like on this video and subscribe to the channel so that you'll get notified whenever a new video is released. Okay, so maybe you have your house prepared and your curriculum chosen, and now it's time to actually start homeschooling. The first day of homeschool can be really intimidating. So here are some tips to help you get started. First of all, you want to make sure that you relax. It's easier said than done, but try not to stress about homeschooling in preschool. The amount of actual academic knowledge that most kids learn in preschools is actually pretty small. And chances are that your child is going to learn those things this year just from playing and from reading books, whether or not you're actually formally teaching them anything. So that's really encouraging because it takes a lot of the pressure off of us as parents. We are going to try to teach them some things intentionally, but they're going to learn a lot just from being the age that they are, being curious, and spending time playing. And that's great news because it's going to set us up for success, even if we're not really too sure what we're doing. Which brings me to my next point, and that is that the first year of homeschooling is really a great time to practice homeschooling. It's okay to try new things and see what works for your family and what does not. Remember that not everything will work, and that's okay. So during this first year, that is a really important time to learn valuable information about your child's learning style and your teaching style. And that's going to pay off literally the next time you choose a curriculum. So you want to spend this year just exploring and trying as many things as you can. And the goal of that should be to really get to know yourself as a teacher and to get to know your child as a learner and to start to see what kinds of things work and what kinds of things don't. And if you've done this research and run those experiments when your child is in preschool, that is going to pay off huge in later years when there is a little bit more to teach them academically and you already know how they learn best and how you teach best. And you've sort of developed that rhythm and routine in your homeschool. Also, it's important to remember that it's going to take some time for you and your child to learn how to work together as teacher and student. There are a lot of studies that have been done with public schools where they have one teacher keep the same classroom for more than 1 year. And those studies have shown really significant benefits to students when they have the same teacher for more than 1 year. And that kind of makes sense, right? If you're in a public school and you're starting over with a new teacher every year, it's going to take some time for that teacher to get to know the student and to get to know what the student's strengths and weaknesses are and to get to understand how that student learns. It takes some time at the beginning, but then towards the end of the year, they have those skills and abilities to be able to draw from. And then the next year, usually in a public school, they'll start over with a new teacher who has to go through that process of getting to know the student and how they learn again. And so these studies have shown that there is a pretty significant benefit to kids keeping the same teacher for more than 1 year because they can skip that whole get to know the student phase. So that's great news for us as homeschoolers because that's exactly what we're doing. We're getting to know our student really well and getting to see our child in that role as our student. And then we're using that knowledge year after year after year, and it builds upon itself. So just like in the studies, the public schools got those benefits when they had the same child with the same teacher for multiple years. We as homeschool families get those same benefits because we also don't have to restart at the beginning of each school year and relearn our child again. They're the same child that we taught last year with the same strengths and weaknesses, the same learning style, the same quirks. And so that's a huge benefit to us. But it's important to remember that that benefit doesn't come until after the first year. So in the second year, and even more in the third year, and even more in the fourth year, you'll start to see that benefit. But in the first year, you have to go through that experience of getting to know your child as a student and as a learner, just like everybody else. And so it's important to give yourself and your child some grace in that first year because it takes some time to get to know how your student learns and how you like to teach. And that is okay. It's going to take some time and it's going to be worth it because you're going to have those benefits in the future years when you stick with it. One final thing to know is that it's really, really, really important to make preschool fun. If you take only one thing away from this video, it should be this. Our goal as parents homeschooling a preschooler is to make preschool and homeschooling as fun as possible. We're laying the foundations for our child's time in school, and we're creating the first impression of what they think about school. And so we want to make learning and school and homeschooling something that's awesome, something that our kids beg to do all the time, even on weekends. And we don't need to teach our kids that school is something to dread or that school is boring. We can make it fun. We can make it be something that they love. And as homeschoolers, we have a lot of freedom to incorporate our kids' interests and to make things as fun as possible for them so that they are having those great experiences and learning to love school. And even more than teaching your child anything specific academically, that really should be our goal in the first year, to make school as fun as possible. So if you've enjoyed this video and gotten value from it, please hit like and subscribe to the channel so that you'll get notified when new videos are released. And please share in the comments, what are your thoughts about homeschooling in preschool? And what do you do to make preschool fun for your kids?